Alright, let's start. So as you already know, this is a tutorial of merging Horror Engine and ALS. I've kinda did something to help people before, just some text that I sent in Horror Engine channel explaining the whole process, but apparently some people still having some trouble with it, and I got some requests to make a tutorial, so here we are. So it's fairly simple process. There's not that much into it, but not many people are familiar with Horror Engine, and not that many people either are familiar with ALS, so this is to help those. This is most likely just to put the two things together, to have them both fully functional together. This is not like to add any extra stuff onto it or anything, just to put Horror Engine onto an ALS character and have it playable and have all the different features of both assets into one. So let's get started. Let's first run Unreal Engine. Oh wait, I already have them both running in here. So first, download ALS and download Horror Engine. I just downloaded both of them, so this is a clean start. First things first, we're going to migrate ALS to Horror Engine and then mix the both together. Well, you can either migrate ALS to Horror Engine or Horror Engine to ALS. I just want to migrate ALS to Horror Engine because there's a lot of input in Horror Engine, and I don't want to do all of these, so I'm just going to do ALS to Horror Engine. So firstly, go to ALS. Where's input? Input. Let's add these inputs in here. That's the first step. So let's put the two together. Put this. Will you let me please? There we go. Put these into here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Start jump action. Copy, paste. Copy, Control C, paste, Control V. Now let's see it's using spacebar, so you can just click on this one and hit spacebar on your keyboard. Add another one, gamepad face button, bottom. This is the A on the Xbox gamepad, the A button. So click this and click A button again. Probably gonna fast forward to finish these as well. Now, action mappings are done. Time for the axis mapping. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Start with move forward. Pay attention to the values in here. So not only the buttons now, you'll need to pay attention to the values as well. And I'm gonna fast forward again. Inputs are done. Now, okay, whatever. Now time for the collision channels. So click on collision, click on collision. I like to set up everything before I migrate, so everything is already there to avoid any errors. We only have one channel in here, which is climbable with default responsive block. So let's copy this, double click on it, copy the name, and paste it in here. That's all we need to do in the project settings. Now, we need to migrate the content of this folder into Horror Engine. So right click, migrate. Okay. Now you need to find where the content of this, the location of this project where you want to migrate to. So I'm going to right click in here and show in Explorer. There it is, into content. You'll need to migrate into the content folder, not into any other subfolder, because this one is already in the content folder. So let me take this path, paste it here, and select folder. And ALS is here. Now we're done with this one. Let's close out of that and make this bigger. Now, here's the problem, and probably the only problem that we have. Horror Engine, this is the main actor of Horror Engine. I can't speak today. What the hell? Of Horror Engine project. This is what handles everything. This is what connects the character with basically everything else. So we'll need to make this inside blueprints, ALS and Man. So we need to put that in here. That's the main issue. Inside ALS and Man or inside BP based character. I like to do it in ALS and Man. Now here's the problem. Here's the only problem that we're having. This actor wants to be attached to a camera. And if you go to ALS and Man, there's no camera. And the reason being is because ALS has its own custom camera. This one, which is the child of a Player Camera Manager. Now here's the issue. Player Camera Manager uses Unreal Engine's default camera. Unreal Engine's default basically have let's think of it like this. Let's say it spawns, even though it doesn't exactly spawn. So don't follow that literally. I'm just like using it metaphorically. I can't speak to explain it. This ALS Player Camera Manager spawns, quote unquote, a camera. It spawns Unreal Engine's default camera. Now, Unreal Engine's default camera doesn't have a lot of properties that you see in the usual camera that you add in the Components tab exposed to blueprints, which is a problem because Horror Engine has a lot of stuff that affects the camera's post-processing setting. Now, the post-processing isn't exposed in Unreal Engine's default camera. Now, we have two choices here, two methods to solve this. One using C++ to expose Unreal Engine's default camera post-processing, to expose Unreal Engine's default camera post-process, or we can alternate between ALS Player Camera Manager and the camera that Horror Engine is going to be attached to, because if you remember, we said Horror Engine wants to be attached to a camera. So first things first, we're going to attach a camera. First, we have a problem here because this comes with the default Horror Engine. It's easy fix. Just right click and refresh node, and here we go. That's all. So going back to the thingy that I made here. First, migrate ALS to Horror Engine. Let me do this so we don't keep on getting notifications. Migrate ALS to HE or Engine. Add input and collision traces channel in project settings. Done. Now, we start from here. Set ALS game mode SP as default game mode in project settings and world settings. So, we'll need to set the where did it go? The game mode to be the default game mode. So go to project settings, maps and modes. There it is, default game mode. If you have it selected in here, and then you just click this arrow, just do the thing for you, or you can just drop down menu, ALS game mode, same thing, and we'll need to do it in world settings. You may not see world settings in here. Here's how you put it there. Just click on Windows and world settings, and here we are. Again, ALS game mode, or you can just drag and drop. It's the same thing. Now, if we play, we'll play as ALS and Man. Check everything works. Don't think I can. Oh, okay, yeah, I can. And slow-mo. Alright, everything works. Nice. Next step. So we can go handy dandy cheat sheet in here. Add camera with these coordinates to the character, which means ALS element that we have. This camera only job is to hold Horror Engine, because Horror Engine, as we said, wants to be attached to a camera. So we'll need to add a camera in here and attach Horror Engine to it. So first, let's add a camera. Let's name it Player Camera. Compile. Location 74 on the Z. 74. Let's put it in. Oh, let me go here. Click this guy. Click this guy. And open up the skeleton. And let me grab the camera. You know what? Nah. I was planning to grab the socket that the camera is attached to, but ALS kind of switches between those, and we'll have a different workaround. We'll set the camera, our camera, to be ALS Player Camera Manager location, so it will match its location, so it will always be on the correct spot. So we don't need to put it on a socket in here. We'll first need to put it there. 74. And do I need to parent it? I don't think I do. No, I don't need to even parent it. Well, so let me do Control Z. Let's not parent it to the mesh. Yeah, that'll be fine. Just like that, I'll probably do. Yeah. Now back to the event graph. Back in here, let's add a tag camera to added camera to the camera that we just added. We need to add a tag to it because Horror Engine wants to access a camera that is that Horror Engine is attached to, which has the tag camera. So let's add that tag. Let's search, click on player camera that we just added, search tags, click plus, and type camera in here. That's all. Compile. Next, attach a Horror Engine to added camera as a child in character BP. So we'll need to add Horror Engine as a child actor in here. So let's search for child actor. Here it is. It's already a child of player camera. Let's name it Horror Engine, and it will be Horror Engine, which means it's this one, the main actor of the whole project of Horror Engine. And that should be it. Next step. Set world location of player camera, the one that we just added that's holding Horror Engine, to follow the world location of ALS Player Camera Manager on tick. This is why I said we don't need to like parent it to the skeletal mesh or anything. It will just follow it on tick. So in here on event tick, let's do this. Get world location. What am I doing? Set world location to be the location of the player camera manager. So get player camera manager. Now you can, there's many different ways to access this one. You can do it like this by cast to ALS Player Camera Manager, or by using interfaces. There's many different ways. Now I'm just going to take a shortcut and use casting. Here's one thing though. Casting on tech is bad. Casting in general, I hate casting in general. I usually use interfaces. I'm just taking shortcuts. You can just access this ALS Player Camera Manager in many different ways. I'm just doing it this way. Well, you know what? Let's do something else. Let's add the gameplay. What the hell? On big gameplay. Event on begin play, right click and add call to, where did it go? Add call to parent. Why do we need this? Because the parent of ALS Animan uses on begin play, so we'll need that, otherwise there'll be errors because it's trying to do begin play where there isn't a call to the parent. So first you always need to do this. Now on begin play, let's do this and store it. Promote the variable. Let me name it ALS camera. Now in here, you know, just created a new variable so we don't have to cast on tick. Get world location. Get location. Get actor location. Just bump. The way to straighten these up quickly, you can select the first one. Let's say it was here. Select the first one, then hold Control on your keyboard, and select the second one, then click Q. The second one will be straightened up to the first one. Now that will take a lot of space, so let me do this. Alright, that's that. In character, set view mode to first person. Yeah, you can do this or skip it. Like, it's just because Horror Engine is more made towards first person rather than third person, so let's do that, or you can skip it if you want to have it in third person. Click on class defaults. Let's find view mode and change it to first person. Compile. Next step. Set sphere trace by channel to ignore all actors of a class inspectable or anything desired to be inspected. In steps 4, custom camera behavior function ALS. Yeah, it's in here. In custom behavior, you can find it. This is the function that you're looking for. Go to, yeah, this one. Step 6 in here, it's just doing a trace between the camera and the character. If there's anything between the camera and the character, it will try to adjust the position of the camera. So say, let's put ALS in here for better demonstration. And let's put a camera. And let's put them, you know what, let's make more space. Say this is the player, and this is the player camera. It's looking towards the player, something like this. Now, how ALS camera is managing do collision test is just checking if there is something between the camera and the player. If there is something, it will just adjust its place, its location, so it's not clipping through whatever there is in the way. That's all. Now, in Horror Engine, when we are inspecting something, we basically bring in that thing, whatever that we're inspecting, to the camera, closer to the camera. Meaning, this paper, for example, if you are in third person, will be between the player and the camera. So ALS Player Camera Manager will try to adjust its location. Hold on, I think we can play now.
Welcome to Horror Engine. You're on the overview level.
Okay, I hate when this guy starts like that, so let me stop that. No, it already has nothing. Okay, there it is, nothing. Now we have like, oh, okay. Oh yeah, because it's not done yet. Alright, I'll explain it later when we can actually inspect stuff. But firstly, we'll need to make this trace, the check between the player and the camera, ignore what we're inspecting. So, let's expand this a bit. Yeah. Let's do get all actors of a class F type inspectable, because we'll be the stuff that we'll be picking up and inspecting are of type inspectable. And let's just ignore this. Okay, what's the next step? And this is what it's saying. Now set line trace by channel and location to player's camera location. Oh yeah. Now let's go to Horror Engine, find the first function, which is update use icon. right in here. You'll need to change a couple of stuff in here. Firstly, to be player camera location plus player camera forward vector multiplied by use distance. Let me change the value in here. 160. Yeah, let's do that. Now let's find the distance between the horror engine and the character. The only change that we're going to do, which is get player pawn or character, get distance. I get distance too. What am I doing? Get reference to self plus float. Let me put this here, this here. Yeah, I'll explain this in a bit. Let's go to paint. This is kind of like a compensation to account for the distance between the player and the camera if we are in third person. Say, here's our character. Damn. I'm bad at this, so don't judge. Here's our beautiful looking character. Now, Horror Engine is usually made for first person. Now imagine you are in third person, so the camera will be something like this. So let's first account for first person. Imagine the camera is right here, we're in first person. So it's just doing a normal trace from the player, goes forward by 160 centimeters. Now, imagine if our camera is all the way in here in third person. Right in here. It's going to try and do a trace from the character forward by 160 centimeters. Now what we are trying to pick up, say, is like right in here. It's not going to reach it. So that's why we need to add this distance from the camera to the player. Now this distance plus the trace distance is going to always be in front of the player by 160 centimeters regardless of the distance between the character and the camera. Now, distance that we're calculating is not exactly this distance. It's this distance because the location of the character is in the middle of the capsule. Now this distance or this distance is going to give us like a negligible difference. You can always do like the math using this distance and this angle to find this distance, but it will work fine like this. I mean, I don't want to overcomplicate it to someone who doesn't exactly understand it, so let's just keep it like this. So now we're doing this distance plus this distance. It's going to be like a little bit forward depending on the angle that we're looking, the camera is facing, but it's not that much, so I just keep it like this. That's what this is doing, that's all. Now we'll need to do this in update use icon. Update use icon is just like, do you see this dot in the middle of the screen? If I look at something, it gets bigger. If I look away from something, it gets smaller. That's all. And we'll need to do it in another function, which is get usable. Apparently I cannot type usable. Update use get usable. It's a macro. We'll need to copy this, paste it here, do another plus. This one goes here, straighten these up, and compile. Now what's the next step? Looking at our useful cheat sheet in here. Actually, we're supposed to be able to inspect stuff now, which I can't apparently. Shift F1, eject. There's a problem. Oh. What's this? Oh, yeah, I didn't set the location of this properly. Here it is. This'll do it. There we go. Now, there's a couple of things that we noticed. Do you notice this bobbing back and forward from and away from the inspectable? This is one thing. There's also, you're supposed to, when you're inspecting something, the background should be blurred. This is the post-processing problem that I was talking about. Let's play as Horror Engine character and you'll see what I'm referring to. Do you see how the background is blurred and there isn't no bobbing back and forth? This is what we need to fix. Put this back in here. Let me save this. Oh, let me just do Control Shift and S. She's refusing to work. Save all. Now, oh yeah, there's one thing that I wanted to show you. If we don't ignore these, and let's go into third person, class default, view mode, third person. Now if we play in here, if we try to inspect, check out how the camera is adjusting its place to account for knowing that there is something between the player and the camera and it's just adjusting its location. This is why we need this. So it will ignore the inspectables. That'll do it. Now, this bopping back and forth, back and forward, is because of the ALS breathing animation, is what's causing that. And Horror Engine only sets the location of the inspectable once. It doesn't keep on being updated, so we'll need to account for that. So we'll need to go, why isn't this saved? Save all, save selected. And let's go to Horror Engine. Let's find, let's create first is inspecting, yeah. Let's create first a new variable, name it is inspecting. Compile. And let's go find the inspection graph. Oh yeah, it's not in here, it's actually in the inspectable itself. So let's go find the inspectable, advanced, no, in Horror Engine, blueprint, score, BP inspectable, here it is. And let's go find event graph, here we are. And let's add that variable in here again. I just moved it from Horror Engine here, that's all. Don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need this. Yep, let's find the event, this event, and add a flip-flop in here. And that's for each loop. A flip-flop. And let's set that variable right in here. From both of these to be isA. Why? Because this event is being fired twice, at the start of the inspection, at the end, and at the end of the inspection. And we only need to set this one is inspecting at the start, because at the end is already inspecting. It will get set twice, and it will cause some weird issues. So this one is being fired twice. When we pick it up, once it's in front of the camera, and the second time one does it finishes when we put the inspectable back. So this one is being fired twice. That's why we only want to set this one. This is inspecting if the inspectable is in front of the camera. Let's add a tick event, or you can do a timer by function name to avoid those. So there's many different ways to set this one. So I'm just going to do event tick with a branch. depending on this. So if we are inspecting, if the inspectable is in front of the camera, we're going to continuously update its location. Inspect location, if I can find it. There it is. And this is inspection pivot. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Inspect location, or is it pivot? Oh yeah, let me do get a player. There it is. We got inspect location. There it is. And set location. Set actor location. Set actor location. World location. Oh, you know what? I believe there's a better way to do that. Yeah, inspection actor. I believe. Where is it? Inspection timeline. Update inspection timeline. Inspection pivot. To be that. Let's try out like this and see how it goes. We got nothing to lose. Compile. Yep, no more bopping. What if we do it like this? Inspection actor. Let's see how it goes. I believe this will work too. No. Alright. This one is done. Now let's try it in third person as well. Yep, no more bopping. That's the first problem that we're going to face, and we solved that. Now what's next? Yes, let's find end inspection. Right here. And let's set our new variable to be false. We need to set it back to be false. Beautiful. Now the only thing that's left is that blur effect, which is like the only problem that we have now, which is like basically it's not really that complex, but because of the way of how ALS Player Camera Manager is set up, we'll need some C++ for that. All right. Now let's create a C++. I'll also show you another method of how to do that without C++. I personally think that C++ is the better option here because it solves the problem from the root, while the other method is just a workaround, but I'll show you both. Let's first add a new C++ class. So, new C++ class that inherits from Player Camera Manager. Let's do next. Let's keep it as my Player Camera Manager. Unreal Engine project source for engine. Yep. Create. It's taking a while because it's converting basically the whole project into a C++ project, from blueprint only project to C++ project. But first, give credit where credit is due. This C++ solution, DreadVector is actually the one who told me about the solution, so shout out to DreadVector Studio. Actually, Corey from DreadVector Studio, you should totally check out his stuff. This guy is basically my mentor when it comes to Unreal Engine. This dude is genius, so check out his stuff, highly recommended. Now it's going to open up Visual Studio for us, and here we are. it will open up My Player Camera Manager and MyPlayer.cpp and My Player Camera Manager.h. We want to be in here in My Player Camera Manager.h. If it doesn't open these up, you can easily find them in your project. If you go to your project, go to source, there it is, My Player Camera Manager.cpp, My Player Camera Manager.h. We want this one. And I will leave the code in the description. So we'll need this code, all of this. I'll explain how you can refactor that to your own project. So this part is already in here, so you don't need to change anything in that. This one, you don't really need it because it will automatically be there. Only thing that you need is the rest of this. So Control C, go back in here, Control V. Now right click in here and build. And that's all. That's all you need to do. Save, Control and S, and exit out of this. Sometimes it will crash your editor, so just to be safe, it's in here. Here it is. Or maybe we don't need to. Yeah, we don't need to. Now, the only thing left in here is to reparent ALS Player Camera Manager to be the new class that we just created, to be this one, which I named My Player Camera Manager. What we are looking for is to have access to the post-processing settings, which we exposed using the C++ class that we just made. The name of the post-processing settings that we just made is pp settings. If I type it like this, I can't find it. But if I go to class settings, reparent it to My Player Camera Manager, compile, and search pp, which I can't find, I think I'll need to restart. Save selected. Now where is it? Source or engine. Now we are back. Engine inspectable. Player camera. Now if I search pp settings, here it is. This is the post-processing settings that we're looking for. Now we'll need to get the player camera and get post-process settings, get not set, get post-process settings, ALS camera, set post-process. It's called pp, by the way. pp settings, and plug it in here, compile, and let's test. Now we have that blurriness effect, and it's not only in here, it's also let me go to class default, view mode, first person. It's also when you're close to a wall. You see how the background is being blurred? That's what that's doing, and also in here. And that's pretty much the hardest part out of the way. Now the second method, let me delete this. Oh yeah, one more thing that I forgot to mention, forgot to add, because I just realized this after I finished recording everything, is this part. Let's find it. Set world, set sphere, set line. There it is. Set first FOV and third person FOV to player camera field of view in player camera character. So let's do that. Set first person FOV, another time. Set third person FOV to be field of view of this camera, because the field of view of this camera is being changed with Horror Engine somewhere in here. If I can find field of view in here, I can't. Search field of view. There it is. It's setting its field of view again. Same thing. FOV of this camera. So we'll need to set ALS camera FOV to be the same FOV as this one. So let's get field of view. I'm doing this. Why? Because if I don't do it and try to aim or focus with the middlemost button, it doesn't do anything. But if I do this, now if I try to focus, this happens. And back to you, Passoib. Doesn't require any C++ code. So let's reparent this back to the way it was, which is Player Camera Manager, blah blah blah. Reparent yes, compile. Now there is no more. And we also need to do is valid in here. Because basically what we're going to do with the second method is activating and deactivating ALS camera while when we are inspecting or not inspecting. Deactivating it when we're inspecting and using the normal camera, which have post-processing set as normal in Horror Engine, like right in here. This is depth of field is what's doing the blurriness, because it's being set in here and then reactivating ALS camera at runtime when we stop inspecting. ALS camera is using this tag to know if we should use ALS camera or not. If we go in here, ALS camera, event graph, custom camera behavior, blueprint, there it is. It's checking if the character that we're playing as has that tag, which is ALS character or not. If it has, it uses the custom camera behavior. If it doesn't, it just goes as normal. So let's activate and add and remove that tag when we're inspecting and when we are not inspecting. Compile. To do that, let's add first a boolean called inspecting. Let's add a variable which is going to hold the tag that we're just adding. Let's call it tag. It's going to be of type name, because the tags are names. Let's add a new function to add and remove that tag. Let's give it first a default value, which is this, which is the tag that we want to add, which is ALS character. So let's copy this and paste it here. Compile and save, and let's add a new function named add remove tag. Let's add a input of type boolean. Let's do let's name it inspecting. Let's set this from here and let's do a branch. Double click to get a reroute node, connect it there, and like that. Now let's get the tags. Get tags. Now if we are inspecting, we're going to remove that tag that's making us use ALS camera. Let's do it like this. Let's remove that tag. You can do it with a variable, or you can just type it in here, ALS tag, or you can just do make little name and put it in here. Many different ways. You don't really have to do it like this. The point of this is to to remove that tag and add it back if we are inspecting and if we are not inspecting. That's all. Now let's get the tags again. If we are not inspecting, let's do add and add that again. Now let's see where we want to call this. Let's go into the inspectable where we start and end the inspection. Well, let's find begin inspection. Where are you? There it is, begin inspection. Let's first find a way to get a reference to our player. I'm just going to cast. You got player character. You can do this in many different ways. You can just use get player that they're using in here, get player, and then get owner. But then again, you'll need to cast again, or you can just do get player character, and then cast, or you can use interfaces. I'm just going to cast, so cast to ALS animan character, and let's call the functions that we just made. Add, remove tag. Now when we're starting the inspection, that means we are inspecting. And let's put it here. Connect this, and even if the cast fails, we want to do the rest of the default Horror Engine. And let's call it on end inspection event. Where is end inspection? There it is. Let's do the same thing. Same exact thing. You can handle this however that you want. I'm just trying to keep it as simple as possible. Reroute node and straighten up and put this to false. Actually, we don't even need this. One more thing that I forgot to mention here, or forgot to do just to be safe. First, before you add the tag, you want to check if the tag isn't there already, otherwise you're going to end up with a duplicate tag. So first, get the tags. Contain item, check if it contains the tag that we want to add. Check if it contains this one. A branch. If it does not, no. If it does not contain the tag that we want to add, then we add the tag, because we don't want to have multiple tags. That's why we are doing this. That's all that I wanted to mention, because I forgot to add it while I was recording and I just remembered. Compile. Now if I play, we have that blurriness. Without this, we're not using the C++, but there isn't blurriness in here because that's only active when we are inspecting. So you'll need to call this. You'll need to use this this function whenever that you want the blurriness, or whenever not only the blurriness, also when you want the fear or glitching effect. For example, if I go, let me play as Horror Engine first. If I go in here and look in there, you see that glitching? Now if I play as ALS and look in there, still having that glitchiness for some reason. Oh yeah, because okay, that should not have worked, but it worked, which is good, I think. Let's add a event and see how it goes. Let's add a fear event in here. Let's click on this, add a new event. on begin play after say 4 seconds. Player, look at actor, get damage, fear effect, here it is. Delay before fear, let's do 1. And let's see. Should be a fear effect. Okay, there is no fear effect. If I play as Horror Engine, there is no fear effect either. Why isn't there a fear effect? There should be a fear effect. Begin play after... oh, my bad. Why isn't there a fear effect going on? Let's play sound and see. Let's say ball blow button, camera zoom in. Actually, let's pick one of these up. Speaker sound, subtitle array. Here's a sound. Let's grab that sound and use it for our fear effect. See if it's actually working or not. And it's not. Fear animation, fear sound, delay before fear, 0 on begin play, do once or save. Let's do it in here instead. Let's do it on the button. Trigger, paste, on use, or open on. And let's delete the first one and delete that. It's not working. Why is it not working? So do fear effect player, fear effect. Let's do a glitch effect as well, which isn't working either. There's a use here? No. Begin play, lock, unlock, slider. Why isn't this working? Let's try something else. Fear, glitch, player, look at actor. Let's look at that. Why isn't that working? Okay, that's weird. No, after and it's 1. Okay.
What the hell?
There it is. It's supposed to be after 1, not 0. My bad. So let's remove the glitch. And let's remove the look at actor as well. And let's just keep the fear.
What the hell?
Alright, do you see that effect? Now let's try it with ALS.
What the hell?
You see? That effect isn't there because that's a post-processing setting.
What the hell?
Now if we are using the C++ code, it will just work, but since we are using a different method which requires us to use this this tag, which requires to use this tag, we'll need to call this whenever we want to use a post-processing setting. So let's go find where the fear effect is happening. The fear effect is probably in blueprint score or events. There it is. Event, let's find the fear. There it is, the fear effect, which is happening here. Fear not dead, we do fear animation, fear sound, and focus, and we do a timeline as well. So we need to call that in here. So inspectable, do this, the event was fear. Oh, it's happening in Horror Engine. Okay, makes things easier. All right, depending on the animation, if it's true. So let's call it in here. Let's do if the animation is true or fear animation. This one depending on fear sound and fear animation. If fear, and let's just call it from here. Let's do it here. You can go there, and you can go there. This is getting ugly and I hate it, but it is what it is. Let's tidy. Let's make it look not so ugly. Okay, so whenever the fear happens, we set inspecting to true. Now let's see where we should set it to false. Alright, let's set it to false right here. Let's make some space. And this should do it. Actually, depending on fear sound and depending on the fear animation. Okay. So yeah, let's just use it on fear animation. Actually, yeah, that'll be a better decision. Just use it on fear animation, because if fear animation isn't ticked, there won't be no post-processing or anything going on. So let's put it right here. Let's put these back, remove this, move that in there, and let's put it right here. Now when the timeline finished, when the animation is done, let's set it back to false. And that should be all. If I click the button,
What the hell?
we have that effect. And this should be the end of this tutorial. This was my very first tutorial, and I hope you guys like it. If anyone needs any help with this, just leave it in comments. I'll leave my Discord in comments as well if anyone needs any help as well. Oh, one more thing that I want to show you before we finish. Do you see this breathing, which is like a lot when you're trying to pick up something? Like, look at this, just struggling with it. That will be done in the animation blueprint. So let's make it less. We go into the animation blueprint, go into the base layer, neutral stand-in, or locomotion details, or crouching. Stand-in or crouching. If we go in here, locomotion cycle, there it is. Not this one. If I can remember, where is it? That's for the sprint. Locomotion cycle, blend, diagonal, the gate, no, not this one, my bad. Main grounded state, stand-in. Now where is it? Where are you? Locomotion state, not moving. It's basically just one value that we need to find if we can find it. Walk to run, walk in, run, no. Linked layer, okay, where we linking everything in here. Oh, no, not this one. It's just for the aim offset. Blend, I'm looking for a blend, okay. Secondary, it's being used a lot. Yep, there it is. Default state. So it's in overlay state. It's in the anim graph, in the overlay state. Overlay state, default, here it is. See how they're adding to the base pose, they're adding this secondary motion, which is the breathing motion. Now you can change the rate scale of this to make it slower, but it will not change how far his head moves forward and backward. Or you can change the amount of the alpha in here. Say let's put it to 0.1. Now if we play, there's basically no breathing animation at all. It's less by a lot. Now this method is being used in a lot of overlay states. So pick and choose. Which one do you want it less? Which ones do you want it more? And that brings us to the end of this tutorial. Hope you guys liked it and hope you got something useful in it. If there's any questions about this, just let me know and see ya.